Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are we getting on? So I dropped a wee tweet a few days ago, just saying I bought somebody that I never thought I would ever put money into or invest in on Football Index, a premium hold, and whatever, and get a wee bit of reaction off it, which is really good. But I wanted to talk. I want to actually use this as an example for the video we're going to do today. Okay, if you've seen the title, you've obviously seen the title by now, of course. Being counterintuitive on Football Index. So let's get stuck right into it. Now, if you spent, I'd say, really more than a month on Football Index in normal time when the season was running or that kind of thing, every trader will have went through the same scenario in their head or whatever, where you're scouting the market, you've got money, you're thinking, right, where am I going to do? What do I see as the next thing, or what do I see as an easy flip, or whatever it is you're trying to identify. You'll scour the market, you'll go through the top 200, you'll go through the squad players, the increase, the decrease lists, positional. You'll do all sorts, and you'll always make a decision, and you'll always buy something, and you'll always as well look at some things and be so close to pushing the button on it and go, oh, do you know what? I'm so close to buying this guy, but these principles I I steer the portfolio towards don't really marry up with this position for whatever reason. It could be age, could be price, could be PB or non-PB league, could be don't have media presence. It could be any factor really, and then you won't make a purchase and you'll make another one because that falls more in line with your principles, which is great and which is fine. It's something we advocate on the channel quite heavily. But and I know it. Sometimes that even though I'm uncomfortable putting money into this position, if I did do it, the chances of me actually coming out the other side of it with profit is probably quite high. So I've just decided this time to actually just take the plunge and just go against my kind of not my gut necessarily, but would I even say my morals? I don't know. It's hard to get the right word for what I'm trying to say. But basically, we've went got a premium hold, and we've got 30 shares of him. He's over the £4 mark, and for all the guesses, I was quite surprised what some of the guesses we were getting back as. After we said there was a premium hold, we got guys. There's a few ones here like Vardy, Martial, Davis and Madison are quite expensive. This kind of thing. I was quite surprised what some people thought was premium, but we have picked up the boy Jude Bellingham. We've done it. So obviously the guy IPO'd recently, so I had a good nosy into him, all the hype and everything that was going round, and yeah, it looked impressive and everything else. But being in a non-PB league at the age he was at, and how much of a gamble that could be, didn't really tick any boxes for me, sort of thing. But I'm not. This isn't going to be a Jude Bellingham loving. You can work out why I've bought him, I'm sure, pretty easily. The main thing, if I was to give you one thing about him, is just regardless of what happens with football coming back or not, you expect transfers to still happen at some stage. You still expect transfer speculation to be ongoing anyway while the papers have nothing else to talk about. And there's some transfers, guys, and I've been through a few transfer windows. If you have as well, you understand this. And if you haven't, this is really important to know, is you can look at any player and read the articles you read about them in the traditional printed press, like your Mirrors and Suns and Sky Sports and Talks, all these kind of places. And then you can find ones as well that aren't really overly credible sources. They're just online blogs and articles and that kind of thing. And you can think, oh, there's just so much. This guy has to move in the summer. It's written in the stars. And you know what, guys? It sometimes doesn't happen. If you were here last summer, you remember there was a few transfers that we expected to go through that didn't. Not necessarily high profile, but there was a few ones, guys at lower level French teams like Ibrahim Sanguer. Probably expected him to move. I'm just thinking about guys I had in my portfolio, certainly, that he springs to mind. Kai Havertz, he was probably expected to move. I read a lot into the interviews with him, and I kind of knew that if they got Champions League qualification, that probably wasn't too likely. But again, there's lots of transfers all always slushing out. I remember thinking quite clearly that Kane would have left probably in the summer. Not as we were at the summer, but maybe the January beforehand. I thought, yeah, he's quite... So you get that kind of thing quite a lot. And obviously we have a situation with like Hakim Ziyech, where we know he's moving to Chelsea already, that kind of thing. But the situation Bellingham's in, I say the only thing I would say about him, if it's not something you've really totally clicked onto yet, you probably have, but he's 16, going on 17. His contract ends the end of next season, as it should happen. So Birmingham pretty much need to sell by now. They're not exactly wealthy at the moment, and there's potentially big money on the cards for him. So I think the transfer happens. plain and simple. Whether it gets signed by somebody and loaned back out again, that may be something depending on how the dividend structure works with the transfer dividend when that comes in, and you know the details of that. That might be a double dipper. You know, so there's a lot of things going that way. But in terms of being counterintuitive, guys, I'll let you know how it works out as much as anything else. But I think it is important to recognise that sometimes you can talk yourself out of a good trade, and you need to kind of take a step back. And it's always about the marketplace, you know. And when you see certain trends and different things happening in the market, even though it might go against every fibre of your being, where you think, I don't believe that, Bukayo Saka is a £3.16 player, or you know, I'm just looking at because he's right in front of me, or Harvey Elliott's a £2.92, but you buy them anyway because there's other things that stack against it. And what you've always got to remember as well is you're not buying and selling it from yourself. You're buying it and selling it to someone else. So could someone else, or could enough people get behind the value they're at now to push the value up higher, so that later on down the line, you know, you're going to make profit? And as long as that's part of the equation and it's something that you reckon is relatively straightforward, sometimes guys, and this is just my perspective from starting this trade now, like 4 days ago or whatever it was, is sometimes it can be good to, you know, go a little bit counterintuitive and maybe move away a little bit from your normal patterns of profiles or price brackets, that kind of thing, and just try and move yourself into uncomfortable waters. If nothing else, you know, guys, like with Football Index, you know, we all want to make money, you know, at the end of the day, but with most things, especially when you're at the top end, the longer you hold, the safer things become, you know, and that's what you've got to remember. So sometimes taking a gamble on something really popping and really flying, if it does go against your kind of, I say not necessarily your gut, because your gut will need to tell you that there's money there, you know, but as I say, maybe your instincts to trading, you know, maybe how risk averse you might be, that kind of thing. Wee bit rambling, guys, but it was just something I wanted to touch on and just something I wanted to have a discussion about, you know, in the sense that, you know, sometimes you can talk yourself out of trades, and we've all done it before, I'm sure. That's something for the comment section right there. If there's something that springs to your mind as we've been talking about this, yeah, I talked myself out of buying this one, and then 2 weeks later, boom, they popped, or the next day. Do you know, actually, it's really funny. I watch listed Joaquin Correa after midnight, 24th going into the 25th, and I thought, he's at a decent wee price now, 96 pence. And I thought I'll keep an eye on him because I quite like Joaquin Correa. He's not really done that much on Football Index, but if you watch him, he's really quick, you know, and he's a clean finisher. And then the next day, get linked to Liverpool or whatever, you know, you can see the date stamp on the watch list, you know. But it dropped a little bit below that, so maybe I'd seen him on the rise a little bit. I don't know, but I'd kind of been watching him and thought, oh, he's at a nice little level there now. And then boom, the next day, you know, so sometimes little things happen. That's kind of more in line with the gut itself. But let's say, guys, the main thing to take away from this is sometimes you can catch yourself just looking in the same circles, fishing in the same ponds. Sometimes you need to take yourself up and move across somewhere else and just make sure you're maximising every potential angle you possibly can without like costing yourself money or diluting your strategy too much. If you are new around here, guys, like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff. Get your memorable sales you've talked yourself out of, or purchases I should say, in the comments below. Look forward to reading them and interacting with them, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.